Hey everyone, we have survived the midterm and we have made it to week 8. So, week 8. So, we have gone through all of our C's and now we are moving on to actually building your first speech. We are going to build that speech piece by piece. So when you're like, am I still working on this speech topic? Yes, you are still working on that topic. Hopefully, you've gotten your topic approved by now. If you have not, now's the time to submit that like a week ago. Okay, you're a week late. Get that in, get it approved. If you've submitted it already, it is already approved. So submit that topic if you haven't gotten it approved. But if you've gotten your topic approved, we are ready to get going. So now we are going to build our speech piece by piece. So the first piece we're going to start with is the research component. Okay. So you need to have done your research. If you haven't, get started on that now. Make sure you've watched all the research lectures. You've had a couple of weeks to be doing research, right? You had a couple of weeks to learn what the research is. So make sure that you are searching your topic. You need at least 10 articles. You need at least 10 types of research on your speech topic, at least 10. Because for the very first speech that you are going to deliver, it's going to be 10 verbal source citations, 10 of them. Make sure you watch the sample video that I've given you because you're going to think that it is crazy for me to ask you to say the same thing essentially over and over and over again. But I'm getting you conditioned to the way that you're supposed to do verbal source citations in your speech. And yes, it is going to be the same every single time, according to the name of the publication, the date of the publication, and then the quotation that you're using from that source. Okay. Every single time, I want to hear according to the name of the publication with the date and then the stuff. Every single time, all 10 times for this one. And I want you to do it 10 times. And that is all you're going to do, literally over and over and over again, 10 times. That's your whole speech for this one. And that is so that you learn how to do it, because the number one things that students were doing wrong in speeches before was they didn't know how to do the verbal source citations. They're a little different from what we're used to in when we write a paper, right? You have to, you have to cite a source in your paper. Yes, there's multiple ways to do that. We talk about that in the previous chapters that you already read. They talk about that source citation. But when you're giving a speech, what you want to have is you want your audience's ear to be attuned to the fact that you're saying, hey, what's up? Hey, listen, pay attention. This is research. This is me telling you somebody who's smarter than me, who backs up the claims that I'm making. That's what you want. So you want them to recognize that phrase, which is why we use the same phrase over and over and over again for you, right? Because we're talking about academic speeches. Now, in my speeches in the real world, I don't use that phrase. I'm going to be real. But I'm teaching you to do that because the majority of the things that you're going to do thus far are going to be academic speeches in school. So I'm setting it up to where you are giving your audience a phrase that recognizes research. So when you are giving speeches, you want to do that. And honestly, when we do them in like competitive speech and debate, and even outside, if I'm doing that, I will acknowledge the same format is there most of the time. And that's because I can't get past it, y'all. I can't get past that structure according to the name of the publication with the date, the person who said it, and then my quote. It's because I'm trained to do that. My ear is trained to do that for my audience. So your ear should be training to do that for you're training your audience's ear and you should be trained to do that. So that's why we start with that. Now, in a few weeks, you're going to look at me and go, Professor C, are we still working on the same speech? And I'm going to say, yes, we are still on the same speech topic because I am teaching you to build the speech piece by piece. I don't want you to get frustrated with that because this class is about learning the process, how to do things correctly, not just rushing through to the end. Remember in the beginning, I told you we're going to get credit for doing things and learning them, right? So if you do something wrong, that's okay because we learn by doing things wrong. I don't expect you to get things right the first time. So me asking you to skip through to just doing the whole speech together is almost like asking you to do something wrong and then grading you by not teaching you how to do them. So we're going to do it piece by piece for this first speech topic. So we're going to do our source citations first, then we're going to do our introduction and our conclusion, then we're going to do the body of the speech, and then we're going to put it all together. So please do not skip ahead. Don't start picking other speech topics when you're like, oh, we must be on a different speech topic now. No, because you don't have a whole speech yet. We're going to build each part of the speech. So as we build each part of the speech, stay with me. Stay with me. Don't freak out. Don't be like, we're still working on this. Yes, we are still working on this because there are still some people who are still trying to get it. Okay. There are some people who are still going, do I need to do this right? Did I fix this right? Did I do my sources right? Did I get enough research? Did I write a good introduction? Did I write a good conclusion? Did I put together the main points of my speech well? Yes, this all takes time. Remember, we learn by doing in this class. Okay. So you have to take the time to do it. And as we are developing these parts, I want to remind you these speeches are done extemporaneously. So at no point during this process, as I'm asking you to create these specific parts of your speech, no point do I want you to sit down at your computer and pull out your laptop and start typing those parts of your speech. I do not want you to do that at all. At no point will I ever ask you to do that because that is not what I'm asking you to. This is an extemporaneously delivered speech. Closing the laptop. Okay. I want you to develop those things, but I'm not asking you to sit down and write a speech. We're not doing that. So don't even get it out because remember, it doesn't fit on your note card. And I will know because that means you didn't actually do the speeches in the parts that you're supposed to do them. So do them as you're supposed to do them. Deliver each part the way you're supposed to. Give us a chance as a class, as me as your professor and your classmates, an opportunity to see each part of your speech, to give you feedback on it so you can fix it and move on to the next part so that each part that you do is done well so that when we get to the next speech topic, you know how to put the whole piece, the whole speech together. Okay. Be patient with me. So this week, just your verbal source citations. That's it. You're just going to do the verbal source citation speech that is due this week. And then we're going to talk about the introductions and conclusions because that's what you're going to do next week. Do not move ahead. Stay with me. We got this. Okay. Building a speech piece by piece is important so that you learn the right way to do it so that you don't mess anything up and you can learn.